Congratulations on your choice of Sabricon professional plumbing equipment. Assembling the rods for use. To connect the rods together, you first need to put on a female coupling at the end of each rod. This is done by inserting the hook on the end of the rod into the first hole in the female coupling. Align the coupling and tighten the male into the female. Now you can connect the second rod. This is done by pulling the rods towards you so that you can insert the second hook into the other end of the female. Align the hook with the hole, push it through, and pull the rod straight again so that the male coupling can be tightened. It's very important at this point not to cross-thread the male coupling. Remember, if you damage the male couplings, the rod cannot be used. So do not use tools to tighten here, use your hands. If you won't tighten by hand, it can't go in. Once you've tightened the male couplings, it's time to use the spanners. Use 2 spanners, one on each end, to tighten the male couplings as tight as you can. This prevents the rods from coming apart and secures them for use. We recommend that you use the Sabricon rod spanners to tighten male couplings, but these are not entirely necessary. Any spanner will do, provided that it fits securely. After use, you would want to take the rods apart again. Once again, you need 2 spanners to release the male couplings. Use the 2 spanners to release the tension on the male couplings until the male coupling is loose enough to remove by hand. You can then unscrew the male coupling using your hands. To separate the rods, reverse the process that you used to put them together. Pull the rods towards you and unhook the rod. To separate the rods, use the reverse process that you used when you put them together. Pull the rods towards you and pull the one rod out of the female coupling. To release the female coupling from the end of the rod, you can try using one spanner in your hand. You'll probably find it's too tight. This is when you need a Tommy bar. Unscrew the hexagon on the Tommy bar and separate the 2 halves. Now, insert the threaded section into the center hole in the female coupling. Once inserted, refasten the other half of the Tommy bar onto the threaded end that protrudes through the female coupling. Once secure, you can use the Tommy bar to hold the female coupling still while you release the other male coupling. Once again, when the male coupling is loose enough, you can use your hands to take it off. Having unscrewed the male coupling, remove the female coupling. The rods are now separated and can be stored. Inserting the rods into the pipeline requires that you lift the manhole cover. Sabricon produces a manhole cover lifter, but any long lever will do. The important trick is not to make the mistake that this man is making now. Don't put your fingers underneath the manhole cover. This results in injury. Rather, use the lever or the manhole cover lifter to lift the manhole cover completely clear of the manhole. Once this has been done, the rods can be inserted into the pipeline. Connecting the tool onto the front of the rods and then pushing the tool and the rods into the pipe. Once the rods and tools are in the pipeline, you need to rotate the rods. For long pipelines, you need to use the power rodder. Power rodder is a 5 horsepower petrol engine and a gearbox which allows you to rotate the rods in either direction. To connect the rods to the power rodder, lift up the end of the rods and insert the female coupling into the socket in the power rodder. Once inserted, align the holes and push in the pin. This secures the rods to the power rodder. You can now start the power rodder and begin to work. Switch on the engine, check the choke, and start the motor. Once the motor has started, you adjust the speed so that it is ready for use. Move the lever to the left to rotate the rods in a clockwise direction. You will find that with most tools, this will cause the rods to pull themselves into the pipeline because of the screwing action of the tool in the front. You need somebody at the manhole to guide the rods into the pipeline. Keep rotating the rods until you reach the end of the last rod. At this point, stop the rod rotating, disconnect the clip, and you can connect additional lengths and repeat the process as necessary. Another way to rotate long lengths of rods is the ratchet, as shown here. The ratchet attaches to the rods in exactly the same way as the power rodder. Insert the rods into the hole, fasten the clip, and you can begin to work. The advantage of the ratchet is that it can be used in uneven terrain, small areas, and where noise would be a problem. The ratchet is supplied in either a one-man or two-man version. Shown here is the two-man version. Let's take a closer look at the tools you need. The first tool you should try is a single worm screw. Connect it to the rods and insert it into the pipeline. Push it in until you feel the blockage. Rotate the rods, and once you feel the worm grip the blockage, pull back the rods. This should clear the pipeline. Sometimes, however, the single worm is not able to grip the blockage. In this case, you need the double worm screw. The double worm screw, with its two prongs, is designed to pick up softer blockages such as rags, hair, and that sort of thing, which the single worm is unable to grab hold of. Using the same screwing action, grab the blockage with the tool and pull back towards the manhole. Pipelines also become blocked with silt. If the silt is hard and caked up, you will need a sand borer. The sand borer is designed to screw into hard caked up silt and to soften it so that it can be flushed out of the pipeline. If not flushed out of the pipeline, then you would be able to use a tool like the drop scraper to remove it. The sand scraper, or drop scraper, is used to remove silt in the pipeline. Push it into the pipe until you feel it hit the sand. Then push it in a bit further. Once you've done that, pull it back. As you pull back, the drop scraper will open up and grab the silt in the pipeline. This process may be repeated a number of times to clear the silt out of the pipeline. The square bar worm screw is designed to be used when the single worm screw is not strong enough to pull out the blockage. This often occurs when you have some small rocks in the pipe. In this case, use it in the same way as a single worm. Screw it into the blockage and then retrieve. Sometimes you are unable to screw anything into the blockage at all. This happens quite often when after a storm you've had lots of small stones washed into the pipeline. You then need a drilling head. The drilling head, as its name implies, is used to drill through the stubborn blockage to restore the flow. Once the flow has been restored, other tools can be used to open the pipeline. Sometimes a pipeline becomes blocked with a hard brittle object like a glass bottle or a soft object such as a tin can. In this case, you need the spearhead. Push in the spearhead and smash the glass bottle or punch into the tin and retrieve. Pipes also get blocked with roots. In most cases, the roots that block pipes come in through the cracks between the joints, and very often it's just very fine hairs. In this case, the root auger is the tool you need. Screw the root auger into the fine hairs and using a push-pull action, cut the edges of the roots, and once this has been achieved, you'll be able to pull out a root sock and clear the pipeline. Sometimes the pipeline will be blocked with roots that are just too heavy for a root auger. In that case, you need the root saw. The root saw is used in conjunction with the power rodder, and its rotating sawing action is very effective in clearing heavy root blockages. Pipelines also have their flow restricted by a fatty buildup. In this case, you need to use the spiral brush. Attach the spiral brush to the end of the rods and insert into the pipeline. Sweep the pipeline whilst rotating the brush for a better cleaning action. The bristles of this brush are soft and will not clog easily, allowing you to clear a long length of pipe without clogging the brush. The flat wire brush is designed for use as a finishing tool for scouring the walls of a pipeline after a blockage has been cleared. Doing this will extend the time before you need to return to clear the same pipeline. It is also a good tool for removing a scale buildup on the inside of the walls of the pipe. It is very effective for this purpose because the bristles are stiff and will not give way easily to tough scale. Use a conventional sweeping action to clear the pipeline. The rubber plunger is designed to be used to get the water to flow again when the pipe is blocked. Insert into the pipe and use a pumping action to release the water. Once the water has flowed away, the blockage can be cleared. The rubber plunger is also a very effective finishing tool. Once the blockage has been removed, push the plunger right through the pipeline to remove the remaining debris. Rods also break in the pipeline. To retrieve broken rods, you need the recovery tool. Push the tool into the pipeline past the point of the break in the rods. The tool works by hooking the next coupling on the rods, so you need to push it at least one full rod length past the point of the break. Once past the break, rotate the rods so that the tool coils around the remaining rods. Once secure, pull back until you feel the tool grip the coupling. You can now pull the rods out of the pipeline.
Blocked again? Aha, that's what I need. It's so easy with Sabricon tools. Professional tools now available for home use.
Blocked again? Ah, that's what I need. It's so easy with Sabricon tools. Professional tools now available for home use.